Hey fellow bookworms, Miss Romero here. Today I'm going to do my very first read aloud. The story I'm going to read today is called Two Refugees and a Dream by Leslie Nguyen, illustrations by Quynh Nguyen. So this is actually a 5-part book and it's very interesting. I'm going to read the back to let you know a little bit of what it's going to be about. I'm not going to read the entire book. I am only going to read part 1. Jung and Lone each embark on a challenging journey and leave their home. One escapes with a friend and the other with her entire family. Where will they go? And who will they meet? What happens on their journey? And who helps them along the way? Two Refugees and a Dream are true stories retold. It is about two different people who leave everything behind in hopes of a better life. Through it all, what keeps them moving forward is for family and a dream. All right, so I'm going to read part 1. Part 1 is called Jung's Escape. Jung was the third oldest of 5 children. His siblings were Tong, Quynh, Hui, and Dao, and K and Nu were his dad and mom. Ba and Ma mean dad and mom in Vietnamese, Southern dialect. Jung and his family grew up in Da Nang, a coastal city in south-central Vietnam. It was 1975 and Jung was 20 years old. The Vietnam War just ended and the Communist Party ruled North Vietnam. Jung was going to college in Saigon, South Vietnam's capital city, and he was studying to become an engineer. One day, Jung ran into his friend Jai. Jung, I am leaving Vietnam. Come with me. I have been thinking about this, but leaving is dangerous right now. I know, but it's changing here. Our country has gone through so much from the war, and I want to leave before things change even more. We can have a better life. Jung thought about the possibilities and agreed. He nodded at Jai and said, I will join you. Let's make an escape plan. Jung's family was also living in Saigon, and they learned about their brother's plan. Jung, I know you do not like it here, but leaving is dangerous. You might not be able to come back. And how will we know you are safe? What about Dad and Mom? Jung, please do not tell them. I don't want them to worry. And you know we can have a better life someplace else. I don't see a future for myself if I stay here. But if they catch you trying to leave, they will put you in jail. Tong is right. It is too dangerous, Jung. I know this is risky, but I have to try. My dream is to start a new life in the United States. On April 27, 1975, Jung and Jai arrived in a town called Vung Tau. A big military ship was going to arrive in a few days and help military members' families leave the country. Because Jung and Jai did not know anyone on this ship, they decided to dress up as Boy Scouts. They helped people carry bags into the small boat that then got transported into the big ship. Then, when no one was looking, they jumped onto the small boat and snuck onto the big ship. Luckily, no one caught them. Jung was one step closer to achieving his dream. The next day, someone spotted Jung and Jai. "Hey, you two! Who are you? Who do you know on the ship?" Others quickly noticed Jung and Jai, and they started to point fingers at them. "They are imposters! Yeah, we should kick them off. They shouldn't be on this ship." Jung's and Jai's eyes quickly filled with fear. Jung responded, "Please let us stay. We will not bring any trouble, we promise. Yes, please, we want to escape for the same reason you all have. We want a better life for ourselves too." Suddenly, a colonel stepped in after recognizing Jai. "Wait, I know one of them, and they are not imposters. This is Jai, and his father is a very important person in the army. And look, there is plenty of room on the ship. We should let them leave with us." Luckily, the people on the ship listened to the colonel and agreed to let Jung and Jai stay. That day, on April 30th, 1975, the ship set sail with 800 people on it. April 30th, 1975 is a day historically known as Black April and the fall of Saigon. It was the day the Vietnam War officially ended and the Northern Vietnamese Army captured Saigon, the capital city of South Vietnam. After a long journey on the ship, Jung and Jai finally saw land again. The military ship arrived in the Philippines. After a few days in the Philippines, they traveled to an island called Guam. From there, Jung and Jai got on an airplane for the very first time and flew across the ocean to the United States. Jung looked outside the airplane window and saw the new land he called home. Their plane landed in Arkansas, a south central state in the United States. Jung was one step closer to achieving his dream. In Arkansas, Jung stayed at Fort Chaffee. It was a refugee camp for people escaping the Vietnam War, and Jung was allowed to leave the camp once he was approved for sponsorship. Before Jung left Vietnam, he wrote a letter to Phuong and asked if she could sponsor him. Phuong was a lady who used to rent a part of his parents' house in Da Nang. Phuong met her husband in Vietnam, and the two of them were now living in Los Angeles. Fort Chaffee is an Arkansas military base that turned into a refugee camp. It took in the largest share of refugees who came to the United States in 1975. The camp processed over 50,000 refugees, gave them medical screenings, matched them with sponsors, and arranged for their residence in the country. Jung waited to hear about getting sponsored. Jung volunteered as a translator to pass the time, and because he knew a few English words. For food, he ate hamburgers, fried chicken, and hot dogs for the first time. Overall, Jung was grateful to have made it this far in his journey. He remained hopeful, even with the uncertainty of what was going to happen next. After 3 weeks living at Fort Chaffee, Jung received positive news. The United States government reviewed his application, and Phuong and her husband were approved to sponsor Jung. Jung was so happy as he left the camp and flew across the United States. His journey was long and far. He left Vietnam, stopped in different places along the way, and made his way to Los Angeles. Jung was one step closer to achieving his dream. For more information on how to purchase this book, please look at the description and get a copy so that you can read the other chapters and find out what happens to Jung and how he meets Lone. Thank you so much for being here today for my very, very first read aloud. I hope to make more read alouds. So please make sure to subscribe, hit like, purchase a copy of Two Refugees and a Dream by Leslie Nguyen, illustrations by Quynh Nguyen. Thank you so much, bookworms. See you next time.